Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Howard Kakradash. Send double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopefully elect. So I just finished watching the brother in the camp, Gabar Yala, newest brother in the camp, his lesson titled "You Can't Play Both Sides in This Truth," and it was a good lesson. And because we were talking about the account we came out with Sakari leader known as Chief Priest Ahlazar, also known as Guerrilla Hebrew, because that he has stage names. In the truth, he's Chief Priest Ahlazar, the Almighty, Unstoppable. But in the world, he's known as Guerrilla Hebrew. So he has stage names because with the evidence given, him as well as his deacon in particular, we're going to talk about him, because they're the top two in Sakari. They showed their hypocrisy several times. And when you go to the word hypocrisy, one of the definitions is to be an actor. You're basically just acting. And the brother made a good statement when he said that another brother had clipped part of the section, which I'm going to play. Basically, you have one of those guys who say, well, let me ask you something. And you know what Chief Priest, the Almighty, Unstoppable, Ahlazar, what he doesn't get is them guys are sizing him up. You know what I'm saying? Because they had sense enough to ask him, and what they asked him, which I'm going to play, is, okay, let's say this. Let's say you happen to get locked up, and in the pen, you got the sects. You got the Muslim sects, you got the Hoover, and you got the Hebrew Israelite sects, and you got the Christian sects section. Who you gonna go to? And he said, I'm going to Hoover. And so when his brother brought it out, it just kind of hit me. I said, well, wait a minute. That's just, if you ask me, more self-incriminating evidence for all of the people. I'm talking about the sincere watchers, sincere listeners who actually watch Sakari and follow them and support them. I'm not talking about the zombies that's in that group. Okay, the scriptures talk about you have individuals that's going to be in their lot. Okay, they don't have sense to think, they're just having fun, because they all think it's a game anyway till judgment comes. However, to me, it was self-incriminated. It's self-incriminating evidence to show to everybody who follows and listens to Sakari that the head of Sakari, not only did he admit that he still affiliate and represent a gang, so being so-called washed in the word, being so-called a new man, being so-called transformed, still affiliates or represents a gang, which is suspicious. Also just admitted that in a time of trouble, such as being persecuted, which is prophesied to happen, when the time of trouble was to arise, he will abandon the Hebrew Israelite and instead side with gang members. Just listen.
Let me ask something. So when you go to the feds, right, in the state, it ain't no choice, like, you feel me? And it ain't no choice for a nigga from California, but it's a choice right here religiously. When you go to the feds, you get to pick like what card you gonna roll with, right? So as far as from us, like, it might be a nigga from Tennessee, he might be a Crip, but he might come in and be like, I'm with Tennessee niggas, you feel me? So on a religious standpoint, a Muslim, like, I'm a Muslim, you feel me? But you gotta make the choice, I guess, is you gonna roll with Islam or you rolling with the Crips, you feel me? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna ask you, if you went to the pen, what card would you pick?
Yeah, I don't even know about a real Israelite card, really existing. You know what I'm saying?
The Israelites, they with the Muslim, they got the Israelites, the Moles, the Moorish Science.
Okay.
You feel me?
All in one
Christians
card?
No, I'm not saying all in one card.
They got their own card.
Christians got
I know about the Christian card. Yeah, for sure.
So you don't even know. So you going with who? You going with the low?
Yeah. You know why though? Because somebody got to be that light over there. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to be the light.
And that's what you saying. So you.
Oh, stop the cap. Okay. This is proof. He just admitted in a scenario Whereas you was to get locked up, and like the brother said in the video, like he said, the only time you really should be getting locked up is doing preaching the word. But given that scenario, what did he just say? If he had to choose, is he gonna go with the believers, the Israelites, or he's still gonna go with the gangbangers? He just said he's gonna go with the gangbangers, with an excuse of, oh, somebody gotta be a light. Dude, just stop the cap. The man is an actor. If you can't see that with this attempt to try to be hood and Hebrew at the same time, then you're just blind. Okay, and it's very suspicious. And the scriptures talk about spies, agents, and we know how Esau Edom get down. He has people to infiltrate, and he's bought off a lot of Israelites. Okay, so for all you know, the man could be an agent. You know, because that's what agents do. They pretend, they act, they play both sides. And he just told you, to all your listeners, that if you too was to ever get in a jam, he's going to go with the gang members. So what does that show you? Is this an Israelite that believes in picking up his cross and giving his life for the truth? Is this an Israelite that believes in being a possible martyr for this truth? He just admitted that in a time of trouble, he's switching sides. That's self-incriminating evidence. Sirach chapter 37, verse 4. There is a companion which rejoiceth in the time, it's like in the prosperity of a friend, but in the time of trouble will be against him. Scripture says it. You marinate on it. Sirach 6, verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. There is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. In thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends. Take heed. And there's one account I remember that really, rubbed me the wrong way, was when the whole Passover incident, right? And what I'm talking about is the footage that came out. There was a brother that recorded the footage, right? During his so-called half-ass apology, he basically threw that man under the bus. He said, oh, and by the way, the guy that recorded that footage isn't even a part of Sakari. He was just a newcomer that came down. We let him in the Passover. But so whatever he does have nothing to do with us. So we ain't got no responsibility for what he did. I said, whoa, wait a minute. So you being the chief priest, almighty, unstoppable, guerrilla Hebrew who knows the scriptures, understand that the Passover is a serious event. Any newcomer that doesn't know any better, if you welcome into your Passover and you partying, you guys are having a good time, you got the drinks, you got the women, he's just going along. He believes he's doing what's right. He's just partying and enjoying himself just like you guys. But because he filmed, and it's because of his film that got you guys in the hot water, now all of a sudden you don't know him anymore. Now all of a sudden he's thrown out of there. You just threw him under the bus. That's a young bro. He didn't know any better. He just going, you supposed to have the understanding. And I said, you see, the scripture says, some man is a friend in name, only in name. See, I would imagine how that brother might feel, whoever that individual was. Imagine how he feels. This is the book of John, chapter 10, verse 11. I am the good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling, another way for a hireling is somebody who's acting, playing a role, or only an extent of to get paid, right? And not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and known of mine. So the scriptures teach you that there's going to be hirelings. You have people who are just playing the role, but the moment persecution arises, they're out the door. In a scenario where you're going to get locked up, or if you do get locked up, which is very real case scenario, being in this truth, right? You got to have your faith. And if you happen to go in with the brother, that's actually a blessing, because you got the faith to help build you up. That individual just told you that he will switch sides and pretend that he's doing it for a good cause. Now, what does that tell you? That tells me even more self-incriminating evidence. That's all I need to know. Shalom.